Hello, everyone. Good day, afternoon, evening, or whenever you are tuning to this session. And my name is Fabian, your MC. So, up next, we have Ken Jeong, an independent security researcher and member of the HoneyNet project. For all the crypto fans out there like me, this is your session because he's going to share about some real world use cases of Honeybag. So, enough said. Now, I shall let Ken Jeong share his story about who stole my 100,000s worth Bitcoin wallet. Kenchong, please.
Hey, good day, everybody. Thanks very much for listening to my Bitcoin wallet story right here. Yeah. Uh, my name is Ken Xiong. I am a part of the HoneyNet project and an independent security researcher. So during my free time, I involved in some of the honeypot tools development and try to play around with different deceptive base defense mechanism. Uh, Personally, I always have this one big question in my mind. So, for example, you and I, we put our personal file on the internet, and then we leave it there for 60 days or 90 days. What will happen to all of them after 60 days or 90 days? Will they still stay intact at the same place, or all of them will be get stolen after 60 days or 90 days? Yeah, so in fact, this is a small little idea from so-called the fundamentals idea behind the scene for these small little topics that we are going to explore right here. Who stole my $100,000 worth of Bitcoin wallet? And let's catch them all with our new deceptive bait. Yeah, let's try to explore about this together for the next 30 minutes. So for the next 30 minutes, we'll explore about three things right here. First, let's take a quick look together about an open source new tool that we developed for this particular purpose, namely Honeybag. Secondly, let's take a quick look about how we crafted those $100,000 worth of Bitcoin wallet and how we place it across the internet. Last but not least, the most interesting part. What happened to all of these Bitcoin wallet that we put on the internet after 90 days? Yeah, definitely I would love to share some of the lesson learned, some sort of the frustrations behind the scene, and also some of the lesson learned for all of us right here. Yeah, so let's try to do this together. Nowadays, all of us, we know that lots of security company scan the entire internet, try to look for insecure web service or exposed database or services on the internet. Lots of good brain behind the scene try to find ways to secure this kind of exposed services or devices or database on the internet. Definitely, on the other side of the world, bad guy, they try to harvest those kind of the same data set, look for so-called exposed data sets on the same scanning result with a malicious intent. For example, they are trying to look for some sort of server or internal system, and then those kind of juicy data that are exposed to the internet. This will be includes credit card information, user information, or personal data, or even corporate private data, which are accidentally exposed to the internet. Yeah, for me, I always like to use this small little analogy. Back in the real life, for example, a street thief carry a bag, an empty bag, break into a house, and then eventually this guy will try to put all the jewelry, gold or silver and everything, those kind of valuable, into the bag itself, and then they will carry the bag, the full bag, out from so-called the house itself. And then in the movies, sometimes we will see that some of the folks, they will put a small GPS tracker into those kind of bags, and then wherever the bag move from locations to another locations, those kind of small little GPS tracker will send a little ping or give us some sort of the informations about the guy who stole the bag itself. Yeah, I always wonder what if anything we can do in this case in terms of the cyber defender's perspective? Yeah, from a honeypot security researcher's point of view, what if we can put certain type of this type of GPX tracker into those kind of anti-backed? In this case, will be the file or the data that will be get stolen. Wherever our data move from a place to another place, we'll have some sort of small little informations about the bad guy behind the scene. Yeah. We are going to explore about this kind of concept, so-called honey token, bait, breadcrumbs over here. Definitely, this kind of technique is not brand new. It has been appear since the past few years, but right now, I believe that this is definitely one of the very useful so-called technology, or so-called a small little concept that will be very useful for all of us as a cybersecurity defenders. Let's take a quick real life example together. Yep. Back in the end of 2017, I came across this very wonderful science blog post by one of the very well-known security gurus, Mr. Didier Stephen. At that time, Bitcoin price shoot up all-time high. Back in end of year 2017, I think it was hitting around maybe 19,000 US dollar per Bitcoin. So at that time, Mr. Didier Stevens started to observe these very interesting observations on his web server. A lot of folks try to pickpocket Bitcoin wallet from his web server in this case. Well, he posted this very interesting web server log, and then he started to observe those scanning pattern, also called the pickpocket patterns, came back after weeks and after weeks or after months. Yeah, for me, definitely the most interesting part is the pattern that appear on this particular web server log itself. So let's take a quick look together about these web server logs on the screen. Personally, I would like to say that this is a very beautiful and very sexy web server log. Yeah, it is I believe it's an Apache web server. And then how can we read this easily? Will be the first column is the IP address, and then followed by the next column, which is the timestamp, and then the HTTP GET request, also, and continuously followed by the URI, a HTTP response code, for example, in this case will be the 404. And then last but not least, it followed by the so-called the data size and also the user agent itself. Yeah. In brief, bad guy tried to continuously hitting on Mr. Didier Stevens' web server, and then this guy they try his luck by guessing this kind of a correct Bitcoin wallet founding, also called a crypto wallet founding. Yeah, in this case. Yep. Of course, it was hit with lots of HTTP 404 response code in this case, because there was no Bitcoin wallet over there. Yeah. For me, what really catch our attention the most is the pattern of the crypto wallet founding appear right in this web server log itself. So let's take a quick deep dive into this particular crypto wallet founding together. Well, a common crypto wallet file name, it could be wallet underscore .dat or wallet.dat, or some sort of maybe wallet underscore backup.dat. And then somehow the attackers, they try to look for some zip file which contains the crypto wallet. In this case, the zip file, namely as wallet.zip or backup/wallet.zip. Yeah. As a security hobby researchers, I started to wonder if anything that we can do in here. What if we can try to craft out a zip file, and then we just feed it to the bad guy with the data that they need, with the fake content in it. And eventually, when the folks start to open a zip file or try to explore the zip file, this zip file will gather some sort of the informations about the guy behind the scene. Yeah, this is just a very small idea, and eventually this start to form so-called new tools that I'd like to introduce today right here, namely Honeyback. Well, Honeyback is a tool that will help you to create a big archive file, zip file in this case, with any folders or files in it, and then it will notify you if someone open it and access it. Yeah. Definitely the main goal right here, we just want to really hope that it will notify us if someone access our data, and it will give us some sort of the informations about the guy behind the scene. We hope that this could be useful for the community, especially from a cyber defender's point of view. Definitely, we hope that this will be useful in terms of data breach detections or deceptive based mechanism, which everyone of us experience this year or in the upcoming years. Yeah. So let's try to explore together about how Honeyback works. Honeyback is a new open source tool. It's publicly available on the internet, on GitHub right now. Yeah, it contains 3 different components. First, has a Honeyback client. Secondly, we have a Honeyback simple DNS server. Third, we can use a responder together because this will be very useful, to gel up the whole things together. So from the screen right here, you can see that this is how what happened when Honeyback runs. It's just a nice and pretty simple, easily to use command line tools. Yeah. Let's try to explore about what is the final zip file that Honeyback created. From the right screen right here, you can see that this is the so-called tree view of the zip file that generated by Honeyback. So in this case, we generate one of the zip file called secret.zip, and then it contains a secret folder. In the folder itself, we will just have one file in it, which is in this case, I name it as a super secret documents.pdf. Yeah, this is just a very simple zip file in this case, and this is the file that so-called final output for as a result of this Honeyback client itself. Yeah, during the generation process, Honeyback will automatically slot 2 new files into the zip file itself. From what you can see on the screen right here, the zip file will be end with the file extension called .url, and then the second file will be the desktop.ini. In fact, these 2 files will form so-called the alerting mechanisms behind the scene for us. Yeah. Let's try to explore about these 2 files together. Desktop.ini. This file is commonly found in a Windows operating system. In fact, the legitimate usage for this desktop.ini is related to how Windows folder, how they display on the Windows Explorer. But for example, in this case, if we want to customize icon about how a folders are displayed on the Windows Explorer, we can customize it in the desktop.ini. Also, we can customize those info tips for how the folder display on Windows Explorer as well. In this case, for example, if we move our mouse over to the folder, and then it will show about this kind of small little info tips. Yeah, this is what we can configure with desktop.ini. Yeah, but definitely, this is how one of the interesting technique that found by Things Canary token. And in fact, our tools, Honeyback, inspired a lot by the Things Canary token. So while the desktop.ini try to look for icon pictures from local machines, in this case, what if we can try to tweak this particular location? We try to ask desktop.ini to look for icon file on the external location. It could be from a domain that's sitting outside of the internet, or it could be some sort of IP address that's sitting across some servers on the internet. Yeah, in this case, this form a very interesting and very fascinating techniques in terms of the alerting mechanism itself. Yeah, the second files will be the .url file. This .url file in the legitimate usage is meant for the convenient purpose. For example, if someone try to click on the .url file, the .url file will lead us to the www.adc or www.cdf.com out there. Yeah, same tricks, same techniques can be implemented in the .url file, which is we can ask the URL file to reach out to some sort of the icon files on the external location in this case. Yeah, these two files and the technique itself are really pretty handy. And then in fact, these start to play all the things into this our Honeyback client, the command line client itself. Yeah. So the next question is, once we generate all this kind of secret.zip file, what if the bad guy open and unzip our secret.zip file and click into the secret folder? What will happen in this case? Well, in this case, Honeyback will start to generate two alerts to so-called to our Honeyback simple DNS server and also the responder that we set up behind the scene. Well, desktop.ini will try to reach out to the domain, the DNS server that we set up in this case. And then for our simple DNS server, we try to listen for all the incoming alerts in terms of the DNS traffic. We try to set up this kind of simple SQL tree logging, try to log about those kind of data that we receive from our Honeyback client. We will collect some sort of information such as the computer name, username, or the domain name of whoever tried to open our zip file that we created just now. Yeah, and then later stage, the .url file, we try to reach out to our responder in this case. Our responder will try to listen for all the incoming traffics, with the SMB network protocol. We try to collect information such as the NTRM hashes or NTRM v2 hashes in this case. So in overall, we'll have various pieces of information on hand, such as an IP address that whoever opened the zip file had a username, computer name, domain name, and if we're lucky enough, we have those kind of NTRM hashes as well. So these kind of small little pieces of the information definitely will form a very interesting pictures in terms of the investigations later. Well, in terms of the alerting mechanism in this case, we are highly relying on so-called the Windows UNC path. So in fact, this particular approach is more applicable for Windows operating system. Well, this is kind of just a small little limitations right here. For example, if someone try to open our zip files on a Linux or on a Mac OS machines, well, in this case, we will not receive any alerts in our end, which is in the simple DNS server or the responder in this case. Well, we're trying to explore about different techniques in the future as well for Linux, Unix, and also OSS operating system in this case. So if you came across with any interesting idea behind the scene, feel free to reach out to us. Definitely, we want to implement more and more techniques into the Honeyback in this case in the future developments. Yeah. Well, right now we have a new tools on hand, and then we can try to create a zip file with lots of deceptive baits into it, or you can create thousands of zip files easily with our Honeyback tools right now. Just a command line of tools, you can just simply play with different scripts and some other stuff in it. Yeah, once we have these tools on hand, the next big question in our mind will be, how can we play with it and get the best out of it? Yeah. We try to explore a couple of different idea behind the scene. For example, let's try to set up some sort of servers and try to put the zip files on the internet. But after a while, we came across this very interesting idea. Everybody gonna love Bitcoin wallet. So what if we try to place $100,000 worth of Bitcoin wallet on the internet and we just leave it there for 90 days? What will happen to all of them? Yeah, this is just a very simple use case. And then because when we talk about wallet, it's going to be interesting, definitely. But for me, right now, there's another big challenge in my mind right here, because the problems right here, I don't have 100,000 Bitcoin wallets in here. Yeah, I mean in my pocket, definitely. So I would say that I wish that I really have this kind of a Bitcoin wallet. And if someone really can donate this to me one day, tomorrow, or in the future, I really appreciate of this, and thank you very much in advance. Yeah. Well, during the explorations of process, we came across with this very interesting so-called alternative, namely Bitcoin Test Net. Yep. So we try to create a 10 Bitcoin wallet in this case, and then each of the Bitcoin wallet is unprotected with any username or any password or any so-called encryption mechanism. Each of the wallet cells will contain one Btc testnet. Well, there are some differences between the Btc testnet and the real Btc in this case. The main difference is Btc testnet definitely doesn't contain any value associated with so-called the real value, such as the US dollar in this case. Two of them, their Bitcoin address or the Bitcoin testnet address will prefix with a different value. But then for me, I feel that the Bitcoin wallet, they look pretty similar. Yeah. So you can use the same so-called crypto wallets program in order to open it. And the best part of this BTC testnet, we can get it freely from a lot of falsehood in the internet. Yeah. In this case, BTC testnet is meant for blockchains, wallet or applications developers. You can use it to make lots of transactions, and those kind of transactions will just looks like real Bitcoin. And then definitely, I would like to urge that if you would like to go for this approach, once we finish use it, definitely try to transfer back all these kind of BTC testnet back to the faucet, because this will be very useful for the community for the different testing purposes. Yeah. So back in when we start this particular use case in early 2020, in fact, at that time, around one BTC Bitcoin is almost equivalent to 10,000 US dollar. But right now, I know from, for example, yesterday, Bitcoin value is almost equivalent to 18 or 19,000 US dollar at the end of this 2020. Yeah, I would say thanks to COVID. But yeah, another case we try to explore right here is about Bitcoin, about wallet. I would say that wallet, in terms of the human psychology, this is one of the very interesting terms. It is about a tools or a place or a placeholder for all of us to hold valuable, such as credit card, cash, notes, identification card in this case. So in real life, if a wallet lying on the restaurants or on the streets, will people take it and pick it up and try to contact the owner, or will just people just take it and take the cash out of it? Yeah, the same analogy as well. What if we try to place those kind of Bitcoin wallet openly on the internet? What will happen to all of them? Yeah. In this case, we we put our 10 Bitcoin wallets on these open directory listings on this different servers on the internet. We just let them sitting quietly over there. We just want to wait for things to be happen. Of course, we try to craft those kind of web server to looks real. For example, if it contains lots of bunch of personal file and other documents on the same web server itself. Yeah, initially, what we expect will be this kind of very interesting and very sexy log, because, for example, lots of bad guy will try to chase over your web server. They try to hunt a lot of, try to pickpocket a lot of this Bitcoin wallet from our web server. I mean, this is what appeared on Mr. Didier Stevens' web server logs back in 2017, and this is our initial expectations. But over the time, for the first 30 days or maybe 35 days, our web server logs is really quiet, and this is really, really disappointing. Initially, we thought of our idea is totally a failure. We won't be able to get any single result out of this. Yeah, what you have seen on the screen right here, this is our real web server logs. This is really quiet. From time to time, you can see that there may be some cats or flies just fly into our web server log. If we lucky enough at the time, we'll observe some sort of Google bots or Google or Bing's bot crawl into the web server and just say hi to us. Yeah. I will say that it could be due to the main reason that this is just a newly set up web server, and no one really know that this kind of web server exists on the internet. So the first lesson learned, just be patient. Yeah. After a while, we start to have this kind of thought. How can we improve the entire situations right here? So we decided to go for a more proactive approach. We start to put some sort of information on Pastebin, for example. Hey buddy, this is our personal Bitcoin wallet. Please don't download it. Yeah. But definitely, once we put a word "please don't download it" on Pastebin, things start to go crazy and getting more interesting because people start to download it from our web server for all our Bitcoin wallet that we put on the web server itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, what happened after 90 days for all our Bitcoin wallets? Yeah. So in this case, all of 10 of our Bitcoin wallet, which generated from Honeyback, was stolen. 9 out of 10 of the wallet alert us with the thief information behind the scene. We have one missing wallet out there. It could be due to maybe the wallet was accessed in Unix machines or Linux machines or Mac OS machines. Definitely one of the interesting observation is the fastest record for the stolen wallet is almost less than a minute once we posted so-called a link or so-called a message on the Pastebin itself. I think this could be due to some automated bot, but who knows? It could be some of the real humans behind the keyboard. Yeah. For the next 5 to 10 minutes, let me share with you, everyone right here about one of the very unexpected scene about this in this case. Yeah, someone just totally kind of wipe out our one of our Bitcoin Test Net wallet over there. Hey buddy, Bitcoin Btc Test Net wallet doesn't contain any value in this case, but I'm not sure why this guy tried to totally empty out our Bitcoin Test Net wallet right here. Yeah. So these entire incidents happened around March 24th and March 23rd. At that time, we started to create this Bitcoin wallet back in March 23rd, 2020, early this year. We leave it there on our web server on March 23rd. And then within less than 24 hours, surprisingly, unexpectedly, the value in the Bitcoin wallet become totally empty and become zero. Yeah. Well, let's try to investigate the entire incidents together. We'll explore about 3 components right here. So first, the web server log. Second is the honeyback DNS alert. And then third will be the responder. Let's take a quick look about the timeline analysis for these incidents from the web server log perspective. What you have seen on the screen right here, this is just a common Apache logs that we have. Some folks, we try to access our web server and then grab this wallet.zip file from a location called /bitcoin/wallets.zip. And then in fact, our web server returned the HTTP response code 200. And then we can see it is just a very common Firefox version 74 user agent itself. These entire incidents happened around during 1440 UTC in terms of the timestamp perspective. Few minutes after that, 1442 UTC, we start to receive a bunch of DNS requests in our honeyback DNS web server. Yeah. You can see on the screen right here, we receive a pretty long DNS request. This is a kind of pre-crafted in our our honeyback DNS server itself. So for the first column, it will equivalent to the username of whoever the machines that access our so-called wallet.zip file. In this case, the username will be equivalent to blue. Yeah. And then the second column, which is a desktop-afm and B6K, this is equivalent to the so-called computer name. And then it's followed by the domain name, which is the desktop-ammfb6k. So yeah, by looking at the log itself, it indicates the bad guy unzip our zip file, looking into our zip file, the particular folder itself, on the Windows Explorer, on the Windows machine. Yeah, definitely. The best part, we start to receive a kind of a bunch of DNS alerts for almost 20 minutes, non-stop 20 minutes. Yeah. This really gives us a good indicator that, hey buddy, somebody is really looking into your zip file and access into the zip file itself. Let's take a quick look on the third component. Yeah. After a couple of minutes after the DNS alerts, we start to receive so-called SMB traffics in our responder. Yep. From those are words that are highlighted in the yellow color, blue, and the desktop-AFM-B6K. This is exactly equivalent to the same username and the same computer name or the domain name which appear on our DNS server logs just now. Yeah. Right now we start to have some sort of the NTRMM v2 hashes. It could be useful for the analysis later in details. Yeah. So just in brief, this is just the overall timelines that for the entire incidents to happen. 1440 UTC, our wallet.zip file gets stolen from our web server. 2 minutes afterwards, we start to get the first DNS alert from our honeyback DNS server. This really indicated that somebody open and unzip our zip file, access into the zip file. Yeah. And a few minutes later, we start to observe the SMB alerts in our responder log. Last but not least, 35 minutes from our first wallet gets stolen, he or she just totally wipe out our Bitcoin wallet by transfer the entire 1Btc Test Net out of it. I have no idea why he tried to wipe out our Btc Test Net in this case, but I believe it could be due to he or she found about what we have done right here, and he or she is really pissed off about what we did. But definitely the first lesson learned will be, it is always good to have different pieces of the information right here, and eventually we can gel all the evidence together. It will give us a very good pictures in terms of the cyber defender's point of view. Yeah. I would love to share about some of the lesson learned right here, do and don'ts. Definitely the first lesson learned right here, just be patient. Yeah, initially we expect that those very beautiful web server law people fight with each other, so try to grab those kind of Bitcoin wallets from our web server. And in fact, it takes us pretty long time in order to get those kind of first hit on our web server logs. This so-called is always the pain and fun for lots of honeypot security researchers around the world. It always takes time until the day that we can harvest a good result uh, from our use cases or from our experience. Yeah. Mm, Secondly, I would really suggest that they customize our own unique bits in this case. For example, we can customize a new file names, different tokens, or different alerting mechanism. I believe that the more unique it can be, the best result that we can get out of the scene. Yeah. And then I would really suggest that put a warning banner. For example, say that, hey buddy, this is a private and confidential data. You are not allowed to access it. This is unauthorized for you. But I think when somebody is really don't care about this kind of banner, that's how the interesting stuff started. Yeah. Uh, so last but not least, I'll definitely never underestimate about the great impact of this kind of a small little deceptive bait. Initially, the entire design is just meant for Windows operating system in this case. Um, in it, at first, personally, I doubt about this kind of approach, but after a while, we start to collect a lot of interesting result of this, uh, especially 9 of 10 of our Bitcoin wallets really give us a interesting result, and this is something really unexpected in our use case. Yeah, yeah. Honeyback is an open source tool that will really help you to create a zip file easily, with any folders and any files to be embedded into it. The main goal for this tool is to notify us if someone accesses it. You can freely download these tools from the GitHub page right here. It's just an open source tool, and we really encourage that any interesting idea or any interesting contributions after this. Yeah. Again, thank you very much to Syncon. Thank you very much to Emil and the team for this wonderful opportunity for me to share my small little Bitcoin wallet story right here. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.